Hannah Cruz at the Church Musician's Assistant. In this video series, I want to talk about some ways, some techniques that you can use to play traditionally organ hymns, four-part hymns, on the piano. The piano is fundamentally different from the organ as an instrument in a couple of ways, and that really impacts how congregations sing with the piano, and it impacts how the keyboardist should lead the hymns from the keyboard. There are a couple of concerns that are unique to the hymn leading pianist that organists don't necessarily have to worry about. One of those unique concerns is the percussive quality of the piano. When you play a note on the piano, the sound immediately begins to decay. Whereas on the organ, if you hold down a note, the sound is going to continue forever until either the organ gets turned off or you release that key. So because notes on the piano decay, that is going to affect the fullness of the sound, the fullness of your hymn accompaniment. The congregation needs a full accompaniment behind them to feel supported and to feel like they can really sing out. So there are techniques and ways that we can make the piano feel more supportive and full, like the organ. The fact that piano notes decay also affects breathing in the congregation. Oftentimes on the organ, keyboardists will release a chord and that pause between the release and the next chord indicates fairly clearly to the congregation that they ought to breathe and sing into the next phrase. But on the piano, because the chords decay, the space between the release and the next chord is not so very clear, and the pianist ought to use some other techniques to indicate to the congregation that they ought to breathe. The decay of piano notes also affects the rhythmic integrity of the hymn and the ability of the congregation to keep a steady tempo. Now, in addition to the concern of percussiveness with the piano, pianists also have to think about the homogeneity of the piano's timbre. With an organ, most organs have many different stops and colors that the organist can combine and use to increase intensity, excitement, to change the mood, to solo out melodies, etc. But on the piano, none of these things are possible, at least not with different colors. However, we can use techniques, different ways of playing the keyboard to achieve the same effect, except not with registrations. Some other concerns surrounding the piano that are not so much concerns for the organist are the volume of the overall accompaniment and the fact that there's no pedal board. So the bass line often needs to be emphasized more on the piano. In the next couple of video lessons, I am going to try and show you at least 8 different tips and techniques for making traditionally organ hymns sound really incredible on the piano and for making the piano a viable hymn accompanying instrument. So please check back for the next lessons. I hope you enjoy and are inspired to use the piano to its full potential and not set it aside as a subpar hymn leading instrument, because we really can do a lot with the piano. All right, move on to the next lesson and I will see you soon.